Nice wall of Fargesia robusta. This is the Campbell variety. Had some people ask me how this is doing. Believe it or not, my most popular video is on this bamboo. I've had it for 4 or 5 years. Believe I planted them about 4 feet apart on center. And they're getting to the point where they're almost filled in. A little bit better. And this one is the Campbell variety, and I finally learned what the difference is between, I think, Pingwu and Campbell. And the Campbell has smaller leaves and tends to grow more densely. I would say that these are mature plants at this point in time. It's like a similar to like a fat pencil, so not super thick, but it's a very well-behaved bamboo. That's why people like it. This is a clumping variety. Mine are probably 12 feet to the tallest bit. Just kind of a nice lush green bamboo. Yeah, it doesn't have the big exciting canes as some of the other ones, but it makes up for it in the fact that it's very easy to control. I just come along and I'll trim. You know, I could just take a line and I'll just come along and I'll trim it. I'll just look up the way like that and just cut it off. When they're first coming up, I think that's the easiest when the new shoots are coming up. This type of Fargesia can handle sun better than others. You want to avoid the hot afternoon sun though. Unfortunately, mine are getting it now because directly in front of me is facing west, and there were a couple of large trees on the other side. I have replaced them, so eventually they will get a little more shade. So the other side is a bit more burnt, but doing pretty well. You know, they do like summer moisture. I have to admit, I don't water them as much as they need it. There is irrigation in here, but I think they may have grown all through it and stuff. So, but I do water them. You can fertilize them with just your standard grass fertilizer. So these are quite hardy into zone 7. However, not in the southeast US. They don't like the heat and humidity. So I think this is more of a West Coast one. There's a smaller variety that's called Fargesia Rufa. I have those as well. It pretty much looks identical. I've grown that in zone 6 in Ontario, Canada without issue. This one probably a little bit tough, but overall height, well, that one there, I mean, easily 12 feet. In the shade, they'll get to about 10. In the sun, I guess a little bit taller. So really nice, dense hedge. And if you wanted to, you could, you know, knock off these little leaflets or where the leaves come off if you wanted to expose the cane more, but I just leave them alone. When the new shoots come out, they're a little more green. They fade to that nice yellow. And we should be seeing, probably within the next month, I will likely see new shoots coming out of the ground. Usually this one goes first just because I think it gets a little more sun. There's one of the, not really a runner, but one of the places where the roots expand, and they do expand out pretty much in a circle. So these ones, I've talked about it before. These were divided off of a mature hedge, and I think that makes a big difference because when you're dealing with mature ones, the new shoots that come up are big. I did buy some before I found these. I bought some of this bamboo, but it's just in like small 1-gallon pots, very small, thin little canes. And so when it was growing, it sent out these little very small ones, and it takes years for them to get this mature size. So if you can get one that's been separated off a big clump, it's definitely what you want to do. But I have to admit, it's really looking good this year. Very good. Almost filled in the almost filled in the holes. Very dense, and if you plant this kind of more on its own, it's gonna bend over on all sides, almost like a foxtail palm. And you can trim these back. So I had ones that were, I mean, I have trees here, they just don't have their leaves, but it was getting into my pathway here, and they're hitting you right in the head. And if you can go and you can cut them anywhere you want, and when you cut them, you remove the weight and they'll just flop right back up. So like this one here, I would just cut it to here and it'll just suck right back into the whole clump. So very easy to prune and maintain. When you do, I have noticed, look at this. So these are ones that I cut off at the ground, and they've sent these new little leaflets or leaves. So I'll go back and trim those off. But I really only do it once a year, and it's quite minor. I'm just trying to keep them away from this tree. There you go. Nice, easy hedge. Definitely one you want to try if you can grow it. Now, the one thing about bamboo is, gosh, they're expensive. Something like this, if you got a reasonable sized one, it's probably going to cost you 60 bucks. Just a small plant is probably going to be $25 or $30. So bear that in mind when you buy them. I got these just from someone who was dividing off their own hedge, and those big, they weren't big clumps at the time. Like I said, there's only, some of them had less than 10 canes, some of them might have had 20. And at the time, I think I spent $40 each, and that was because I was buying a bunch. I think I bought, let's see here, 8 of them. So definitely not the cheapest plant around, I will say that, but it's a nice one. It's a real nice one and well behaved. That's the most important part. Thanks for watching.